Hello and welcome to Out and About. I am your host, Joanne Rice, and have we got a wonderful show for you. Now I know everybody's enjoying themselves, they're getting a little rest and all of that. Well, we've got a hard-working lady right with us today, and she's decided she's not going to rest until sometime in November of 2018. We have with us Lee Mcqueen, and we're going to introduce you to her because she has decided that she's running for office right here in the Architects. Lee, we want to welcome you to Out and About and welcome you as a person who's running for office in Arkansas. Wow, I haven't had the opportunity to meet very many females running for office, so this is wonderful to have you with us here today. So now, Lee, you are running as an independent, and you're running for, I believe you said, the District 4. And now that you told me where District 4 is, I mean, I still don't know, but it really is a big area. So tell us a little bit about yourself, because people may not know who you are. And when they go to the polls in November of 2018, which is almost like tomorrow when you really think about it,
yes.
They need to know something about you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. I appreciate the invitation. And I'm excited. I'm excited to throw my hat into the ring for Arkansas's District 4 House seat. That I've been watching events unfold throughout this entire year. And I had concerns about how certain votes were being cast. And with each vote being cast, it looked worse and worse. And I actually waited to see if someone was going to do something about this. And I decided that I would put myself into a position to actually voice concerns about what's happening in District 4, what's happening at the federal level. And I decided to see what skills I could bring, what insight, what background I could do to actually elevate living conditions for people in District 4. I had serious concerns about health care, about education, about the job situation where people were wanting to work, desperate for work, and not finding the work that they want and need to do to have a good life for their family and be paid a living wage for that. And that also concerns about our foreign policy and how it was affecting us here at home domestically. Concerns about our drug war, the mass incarceration, many, many things. And I decided that not only here in District 4, but across the nation, I saw a resurgence of a focus on people politics rather than corporate politics. And that it was more than just a notion that once upon a time that we did have that. And I think that we can have it again. And so I decided that I wanted to maybe remind people of what we could be and what we should be and what we can be if we make that effort.
Well, that sounds like a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
when you think about what all is happening today and the fact that we're very happy to see a female, an African-American female running for office, but you want everyone to know that you need all votes. A vote is a vote, regardless.
Yes.
And tell us why you decided to become an independent progressive instead of choosing one of the other parties.
Well, I definitely welcome everyone's vote. I welcome everyone's investment and expression of hope in a rising tide lifting all boats, not just some boats, that we can all rise and be better than what we were before, and that life does move forward, it doesn't move backward, and it doesn't stand still. We should never be satisfied with the status quo. And that was one thing that I was concerned about, satisfaction with the status quo, the way things were and maybe the way things are. I believe that we should always strive to be better. And that was why I chose to run as progressive, as an independent. Arkansas's District 4 is pretty conservative relatively, and that there might be concerns about partisanship. And I said, well, why be concerned about that? Why not be concerned about people rather than party, people rather than profits, protecting our planet, our environment? And I didn't feel any constraint in terms of being a woman, that I feel that women make up 51% of the electorate in Arkansas, certainly in District 4, and that it may be time that they also make up 51% of our U.S. Congress, which is composed of our representatives, meaning that we represent the people in the district, and that we are somewhat off balance. And it's likely time that balance returns, not necessarily to the force, but certainly to policy making, legislation, and decision making of how to allocate our budget. That we're off balance right now, and it's showing. And the fact that we have streets in need of repair, we have bridges that need support, we have schools that need to be reinvested in rather than disinvested in with the voucher system. That we have drug manufacturers who are gouging people who are ill, who are sick, who are dying. And there needs to be a concern paid to that. And I just didn't see it. And so these are not partisan issues. I don't believe that they're gender issues, that we all need help sometimes, and that it's just common sense, a lot of it. Just plain common sense, and then some of it's even biblical. And I won't get too far into that, but we look at the examples that we see in the greatest book ever written, and we see that there's a focus being paid on wealth inequality in the good book, and that it was not highly regarded, that wealth inequality where the rich have everything and the poor have nothing. And that there was also a focus on healing, being healed, having health care, the best kind, and with no request for an insurance card that I have ever read about. And that there was also a focus on teaching, and that this was provided also free of charge, and that there needs to be a focus on free college tuition, free, public education, and a good day's work, of course, but also fairly compensated. That if you don't work, you don't eat, is one saying. But we're seeing people that have been working and they're still not eating because they're paying the rent with the grocery money, and they're, paying a car note with maybe, other kinds of money so they can get to and from work. I want to bring common sense back, prosperity for all, not just for some, that we can, again, be more, spread it around a little bit, and that we've also been rendering unto Caesar what is Caesar's since biblical days, and that some people just don't want to do that. Some people are willing to pay into the system so that all may have, and then we see others who refuse to, and that they're being protected, and I think that needs to come to an end.
Well, with that, let's also, I think all of that's very good, and the people of Arkansas really need to, I believe that there's a signature that has to be, people have to sign up or sign to have your name put on the ballot. And so that's very important. So let's talk about that.
Sure. I do need 2,000 signatures from registered Arkansas voters of District 4. They need to be valid. And so if you're a registered voter of Arkansas, I would love your signature on my ballot petition. I may be knocking on your door.
Okay.
To convince you that I'm going to work very hard to earn your vote and to be the independent candidate that represents you honestly, directly, and with integrity in the United States House of Representatives. And so we are petitioning right now, gathering those signatures, hard at work, burning through some shoe leather, hoping to make that deadline. The deadline has been under, I would say, dispute. Some people considered it unconstitutional. The original deadline was March 1st, and that it went up to the 8th Circuit Court, which remanded it down to the U.S. District Court. And there was a decision last week I'm waiting for the final write-up of that decision, but we are under advisement that the new deadline will be May 1st.
Okay. That gives you some more time.
Additional 2 months.
And which is always needed.
Definitely.
Definitely needed.
Definitely.
Yes. Well, one of the things that we have not talked about, but I just wanted to speak about is the Me Too movement. And I think that you're taking the opportunity to run for an office for District 4 is very important, because in my mind, this is just my personal opinion, that if you have a lot of women sitting around, there's not going to be that many men that are going to act in a unprofessional manner, because there are a lot of women there. I think sometimes because of the fact that there are few women in as U.S. Representatives, then therefore people tend to forget that. So that's just my thoughts. I wanted to know if you had any thoughts on that.
Well, the truth is, women, again, make up 51% of the population of the registered voters in District 4, mostly in the United States. And they also pay approximately 51% of the taxes. And so because women are paying into the system, they are working hard, they're raising families, they are active participants in civics, I think it's only fair and reasonable that there be an expectation that they have a representation that approaches that ratio. Definitely the Me Too movement has revealed much that is very disturbing. And some of the stories are very heartbreaking when we hear about the suffering that has occurred. And we also need to know that there are solutions to this. That, again, I do feel that we are off balance in many ways, not only in our spending, but also our policy focus, and then in terms of who is crafting the legislation, and that there's a lot of unhappiness as a result. I feel that there needs to be a striving forward of women. I'm seeing more empowerment as people have been speaking out about this problem that has been revealed. We can't really say that it's new, that it's probably been going on for some time, and not just in the political arena. We've seen it also in the entertainment field.
Yes.
But then it's also happening perhaps in everyday life too. And that role modeling is important. I have my own role models, being Barbara Jordan, one who was a representative in Texas, the first black woman elected from a southern state. And then, of course, Shirley Chisholm, the very first black woman who was elected into the United States House of Representatives. Also the first black woman, well, actually the first woman who sought the Democratic nomination.
Yes.
I'm very much proud of her. And the fact that Shirley Chisholm, was the co-founder of the Congressional Black Caucus. So she has a lasting legacy. And that she also supported women. She hired women for her office. She mentored women. For instance, Representative Barbara Lee was a volunteer for Shirley Chisholm. And so mentoring is important, and I love to see that balance is being restored, that people are realizing that this problem that we're seeing, that the Me Too movement has uncovered, that there are solutions being sought, and I hope to be part of that solution.
Okay. Well, Lee, believe it or not, that time is up.
Oh.
So we want, from what I can tell, we wish you much success. First in getting your 2,000 signatures, and then in being elected. Those two things had to have the signatures first, then being elected. And we look forward to hearing more from you in the coming months, because whether we like it or not, May will be here before we know it, and after that, then November's right around the corner.
Yeah, time is always flying in an election season.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you so much.
Now, you heard it here. Lee Mcqueen is running for District 4 U.S. House of Representatives. And she's going to need 2,000 signatures by May 1st. And we want to make sure that she gets those. And once she gets those, that's going to be a piece of cake. Then she'll be on the ballot in November 2018, which is like tomorrow almost. So please pay attention to Lee. She's going to be giving you more and more information, and you'll be hearing more about her. We will be right back after this break.